Welcome back to Impulse Plays. I'm Crazy Carl Winter here with Ryan, Fire Gexia guy Marvin. How you doing, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm doing great, Carl. I'm doing great.
Awesome.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I have two functioning ankles, and I know that you will soon too. So that's great.
Yeah, I'd say right now I've got about 1.7 of a
That's
functioning ankle.
not too bad.
I can play pickleball, but I can't run.
Fair
So,
enough.
we'll take it.
Fair enough. Speaking of things that don't run, we've got White Red Rifter. That was a really bad segue, but that's what we're
Hmm
going with. It's White Red Rifter versus Angry Hermit. So White Red Rifter, a very slow deck. Angry Hermit, a much faster deck. So we'll take a look at the Rifter deck first. This is my list where I'm trying to make it as shiny as I can, and I'm having a lot of fun with that. The deck is not precisely good, but it can do some surprising things sometimes. Like sometimes you get out like Lightning Rift and a Humility, and then the creature decks just can't win, and that's always pretty exciting. Um,
Yeah, turning all of your spells into, pay one red mana, or some, cycling cost
right.
to
Shock draw
kill
card is
any
pretty good.
creature on the board. Pretty
Yep.
good.
Yep. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. And against that, we have Ben's Angry Hermit, which is a much faster deck, which Ryan and I were talking about. It's a little bit different than the Tin Fins deck, quote unquote Tin Fins. I call it Tin Fins, but other people don't like it. Whatever. They can suck
Yeah,
it.
it's 10 fins.
Yeah, Tin Fins. So the Tin Fins deck is a Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual deck that's looking to get out a Sutured Ghoul as quickly as possible, whereas Angry Hermit's got kind of a combo plan with the Sutured Ghoul and the Hermit Druids, or you can also go for a just straight up Dreadnought plan with Stifles and Vision Charms. There's got a lot of reanimation between Shallow Grave, Reanimate, some disruption between Duress and one Cabal Therapy, which I wish there were more Cabal Therapies. I love that card. But other than
Hmm
that, it's pretty stock standard. No real weird things. I think probably the strangest thing is the Orms chant in his sideboard. And I think that's a really cool addition because it just does a lot of things against a lot of decks.
Yeah, it is an angry hermit deck. Hermit being the key here. There are no basic lands.
Correct.
So
So,
having,
yep.
all these the play sets of City of Brass, Gemstone Mine, along with the Miser's Reflecting Pool, means that this sideboard can really go in any direction.
Yeah, for sure.
Um yeah, big fan of the Decree of Annihilation. I just remembered out of your deck.
Yes.
Um
Thank you.
but looking at big spells here, Gilded Drake, not
Yeah.
a card we see too often in pre-modern sideboards because of just cost.
Yeah.
Unless you're a commander player and you had that from your, CDH days back when that
Right.
card was more playable.
Yeah.
But what do you think about Gilded Drake in pre-modern and
It's pretty sweet. It's not
right
great
now in
here.
pre-modern?
Yeah, it's good in general because it stops. It's good against Phyrexian Dreadnought. It's not great in this matchup, but that's to be expected. It's a creatureless deck for the most part. Like Eternal Dragon is not really a creature. It's a kill spell.
Yeah.
And I was looking at sideboarding things. I don't know that I'm looking at the blasts out of Rifter, and I don't recall if I boarded those in or not. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but yeah. And then the furnaces are probably pretty good. Possibly seal cleansing, which because that shuts down Dreadnought and Dragon's Breath. So
hmm
if the Suture Goal comes back and equips gets enchanted with Get Dragon's Breath, you can disenchant the Dragon's Breath, and then it doesn't have haste and it doesn't attack anymore, and then it likely dies to the Shallow Grave effect or just sits there, which is pretty great. I don't
Yeah.
think Ben has anything. He might want to bring in another Suture Ghoul just to have an extra one as a backup, and possibly another Cabal Therapy to just kind of shut down my slow controlly game plan. But let's say we get into this match here. So we've got Ben on the left with Angry Hermit and me on the right playing Rifter. And Ben is not as invested in this game as I am because he has his phone out and he's dividing his attention. No, true story. So I heard of it. There's a study that says if you have your phone on the table when you're talking to somebody, your attention is
Yeah.
automatically less devoted to that person and what's going on.
Huh.
Because
Interesting.
just by the sheer fact your phone's there, you're not even looking at it. Like his is face down, but studies show that his attention is divided. So this might give me an advantage here, where Ben is not paying attention to what's going on.
Well, yeah, you have that inherent advantage because your phone is being used as the life counter.
Exactly, exactly. So it doesn't count for me. I mean, it
So we
probably
got
does.
starting off Ben
Nice
with the
duress.
Llanowar Waste into the Duress, stamped by the one and only Duress crew.
Love to see it.
Uh,
Giving
let's
Decree of
see.
Annihilation a read there. It's probably not going to
Yep.
be anything he has to worry about. I think he's likely
Nope.
to take
Probably not for
this.
a while.
He takes Renewed Faith. Okay, I don't have a white source available readily, but Slice and Dice I think could have been a good take if he's on a Hermit plan. But if he's on a Dreadnought plan, it doesn't matter. Like he's gonna just jam the Dreadnought here, and I'm not gonna be able to answer it.
Yep. Exactly. Totally agree with you there.
Oh well, there's the
Here
Dreadnought and the
comes
Stifle.
Dreadnought and a Stifle. Speak of the devil, and it shall appear.
Okay, I don't have a white
Um,
source.
we get to plane cycling.
We sure do. So I go get a planes, which will enable, if I drew a Swords to Plowshares in the last 2 draws, or I draw one this draw, I can potentially answer the Dreadnought. But Ben
Yeah, because
wisely
here
casts
is
Cabal
Cabal
Therapy.
Therapy.
So if there is a
Because the Cabal
Swords
Therapy
there,
is the one of in his deck, right?
yep, it
Yeah.
is. Okay, I think he named Swords to Plowshares there. I don't think I had the Infinite Token that I usually write these things down on, but I'm pretty sure it's Swords to Plowshares.
Yeah, I
Do
think the little hand symbol you made there was like
cut.
to maybe show swords.
Oh,
Oh, there it is.
the
Swords
top
to
deck sword.
plowshares off the
Called
top.
shot. Called shot.
Question is, does Ben have the vision
No,
charm?
he
It doesn't
doesn't. He
look
has
like
like
he
he's like
does.
worldly tutor and garbage like that. That doesn't do anything. That's
Oh,
amazing. All right,
he
we got a
should have
game.
put the dreadnought in exile. But yeah,
That's true.
we do
Yeah,
now have a game.
that's amazing.
Yeah, I
That brings back
mean,
warm fuzzy feelings.
looks like we've got a worldly tutor and a couple other green cards. There's a stifle in his hand.
Yeah, he's
I
got a
see a
Hermit
hermit
Druid as
druid.
well. Hermit Druid a lot less good when I've got Slice and Dice kicking around here.
Yeah, now now you have the access to most of your more relevant removal.
Right. Yeah. Once I get past that like 2 or 3 mana like hurdle, I have a lot more options available to me. So there's Lightning
Yep.
Rift,
And the
the namesake
lightning
of the
rift
deck.
to top it off, which is great. He's gonna go ahead and worldly tutor here. What do you think for? Do you
I
think
think
we're
he's getting
getting a
another
dreadnought
Dreadnought.
to
Yeah.
stifle?
Yeah, he's getting another Dreadnought to stifle, I think. Yeah.
Okay, I mean that seems pretty good. Now we just have to find one of your other swords to plowshares
I
or
have
your rune of protection artifacts.
Yep, I have 3 plows, Rune Protection artifacts, Humility, and Aura of Silence to deal with this Dreadnought. So it's not
Mm,
like I have a million cards that deal with it, but I have a non-zero amount of cards that deal with that Dreadnought.
yeah. Aura of Silence, I think maybe if you were to play this at, a larger event,
Mhm.
maybe including a couple more Aura of Silences and maybe, the fourth Slice and Dice given how much
Yeah.
Enchantress stocks have been up.
Yeah, no doubt. The problem is foil Aura of Silence is $40, and I can't justify buying any more than I already have, so that'd be a tough sell.
You know what? For the theme of the deck, that's totally fair.
Mm-hmm. I will say that
Alrighty.
since this match was played, I've revised my deck list a little bit. There's no longer Decree of Annihilation in there. It is a garbage card.
Aw.
Dust Bowl does not deal with the Phyrexian Dreadnought. I do have a cycle here, so I get to cycle my Slice and Dice. His
Yep, we're gonna
Dreadnought takes
deal
a
2
damage,
damage to the Dreadnought.
and it looks like I did not draw a
And
plow.
what
Yeah,
is that
it's a
card?
Forgotten Cave. If I had tapped differently,
Forgotten Cave.
I could have
You could have had
or
another
Spark
look at the
Spread.
cycle.
Yeah, I could have had another look at a plow, but I didn't have one anyway. It looks like so. Never punished in
Oh
that I
yeah.
didn't have
Also,
it.
if you just hadn't paid for the Lightning Rift.
I don't think I did. Slice and Dice is 3 to cycle, so
Oh.
yeah.
Oh right, because Slice and Dice deals one. Okay,
Yeah, it's one that
never
deals
mind.
damage to everything automatically. That's what I was saying. It took 1 damage because I did 1 damage with the Slice and Dice.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
All right, looks like Ben is on a mold of 6. I get to keep my 7 because I have very good deck building
Mhm.
skills. And Ben is looking to get out of the gates fast, but he really wants to have some disruption in the case I have a Swords of Plowshares or some sort of artifact enchantment destruction. Looks like I have Humility in my hand, which is a great card against the creature-based combo deck that is
Yeah, I mean
possibly bringing in
the
some disenchant effects, but I don't think he had much. He had
he
Ray of
has 2
Revelation.
Ray Revelation, but
Yeah,
that is about it.
yeah, that
Starting
is.
off with the turn 1 Hermit Druid.
Yep, yep,
This is not looking super great, but here's the Swords to Plowshares.
yep. So Plow takes it out. That's great.
Yep.
The non-foil Battlefield Forge
Battlefield
making
Forge.
appointment or appearance. There we go. That's what I'm looking for.
Mhm.
Ooh, looks like I have a Lightning Rift too. So I've got a pretty decent start here. Another Plow is really huge.
Another Swords here is really big.
Okay, electing to not take the damage from the Pain Land. I don't think it really matters all that much, but I guess it's better
Yeah, I
to
mean,
not
you don't
take it
really have
than.
much to hold up here, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't really have much to represent. Obviously, you're currently representing Swords to Plowshares, but he
Mm-hmm.
just saw one,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, this is a
well, looks like we're
safe Dreadnought. I think I would. I don't know. Without seeing the rest of his hand, I would consider just
um.
going for another Hermit, but Hermit is
I mean,
open to Slice and Dice, whereas Dreadnought is not.
yeah. Also, it is vulnerable to Lightning Rift.
Yes,
Paying
that's.
for it.
Oh yeah, that's a thing too.
Um.
Which is an
Yeah,
on-table trick. Yeah, that makes sense. That's why I didn't go for it. Plus, he has the
I
stifle to
do
go for that.
think
But... It's nice.
So he went for it here. He had reanimate, but unfortunately, Swords to Plowshares exile.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Which is ungood for that reanimate, as you said. You have
Yeah,
Decree of Justice, slamming the humility here.
yeah,
Creatures be
and now he
darned.
doesn't even have reanimate your Eternal Dragon
Nope.
as a
Nope.
line here because it just
Oh,
would come back as a
interesting.
1/1 that you can slice and dice.
So Ben did not cast his Dreadnought here. So he could have cast it because it loses the sacrifice ability. So he could have cast his Dreadnought and then hoped to Mise and get a Ray of Revelation, kill the humility, and then just start attacking with a free 12/12. So a bit of
Hmm,
a potential blunder,
certainly possible.
unless Ben didn't bring in the Ray of Revelation, in which case it doesn't matter at all.
Hmm. I mean, I would hope that he brings in Ray of Revelation, because you are probably bringing in, some number of Seal of Cleansing. At least I would assume a red-white enchantment deck. Like, why would we not be bringing in,
Right.
Seal of Cleansing here?
Yeah, I've actually switched over to Disenchants for the most part. I have a Seal Cleansing in my sideboard
Mm,
now, but I have Disenchants and a Abolish, just as a little bit more tricky ways to deal with stuff because Disenchant does not get stifled.
Abolish. Disenchant doesn't get stifled, but it does get counterspelled a lot more, I feel.
About the same rate
Like,
as Seal
whereas
Cleansing.
Seal of Cleansing, yeah, well, that's that's totally fair.
Yeah. All right, the Rift is doing its work. I've got the Rift getting some damage in on Ben. I've got the Soldiers cracking in. And I am almost to the point where I can buy back this Eternal Dragon and just have a 7 mana 1/1, which is you got a good thing going there when that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't I don't know how great that would be, given that you would have to tap yourself out of, interacting with
It
any potential,
it
angry hermits.
Yeah, I mean it increases my clock by 50%, and Ben has to deal with humility before his deck does literally anything.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fair.
Okay, so
Okay,
Ben
so he
Ben
cast
did
a,
call. Yep.
1 mana 1/1 here.
Yep, so he did do that. I'm not sure why he held onto it for so long. Maybe because he didn't want to get it rifted or something. So we're getting Dust Bold.
Oh, yeah, probably that. And you're
But
activating Dust Balls, sacking the Forge that was targeting the City Brass, right?
yeah. I as bad as it seems to like have the Dreadnought just die to the Lightning Rift, I don't think it's the worst because he stifles my Dust Bowl. Very nice. And
Interesting.
cycling to kill the Dreadnought. Yeah. So like it gets the Dreadnought into the graveyard, which if he does Ray the Humility, it does open up Sutured Ghoul as an option. And it also
Mhm.
saves him 2 life. So it's not completely pointless to cast it. It's just not great. All right, we're getting rid of that City Brass
Yeah.
finally.
He also now has a target for that reanimate.
He does. He does.
But
Not
again, like you said, he has to find the Ray of Revelation first.
exactly. Yeah. If
Doesn't look like he found it.
yeah. Which
Looks
I'll be
well,
very
he's got a
curious to see if he
worldly
brought it or not.
tutor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe given that we're playing 4 worldly tutors, how do you feel about adding a monk realist
Monk
to the
Realist could be
sideboard?
good.
Maybe over
Or a Vigilante. Well, Vigilante is pretty
yeah.
ambitious for
Oh,
the
Vigilante was
15 land deck.
uh yeah.
Yeah, okay. And
Mm,
so Ben is just losing all of his mana sources to this Dust Bowl. The one of Dust
yeah.
Bowl. Actually, was it one of in this
The
list?
one of Dust Bowl, that's right.
Oh no, it's a 2 of in this list. I just decided not to get another foil one, so it's now a one
Ah,
of.
oh, that's fair. I mean, yeah, unfortunately, that's just how it is with Hermit Druid decks.
Yep. Yep.
Hermit, you can only have those non-basics. Makes
Mm-hmm.
Price of Progress that much sweeter.
Yep. It's
But
very strong.
red is dead apparently, so it's not really something you have to worry
So I've
about.
heard. So I've heard. I've also heard green is bad. That's also something thing I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, look, the 3/1/1s, I think exactly what all the people that are defending green
Mm-hmm.
are saying it against my match versus Chris when we were in Rochester fighting for
Mm-hmm.
top 8.
Yep.
Yeah, Ben just kind of conceding here. That makes sense. You're not really
Yeah,
doing
no issues
anything.
there. And he's on a mold of 5, but
Um,
that's the thing this deck does. The Angry Hermit deck does mull a lot. Just because it's looking
yeah,
for
because
very
it's a
specific
fairly
cards.
all-in combo.
Yeah. Looks like I was on a mold of 6, and I have an Aura Silence, but had an Aura Silence. Oh no, okay. Oh, a Swords Plowshares. Okay, I
We're
just didn't
taking the
recognize the
swords
art.
to plowshares.
Yeah, that makes
Okay,
sense. That makes sense. I don't
because
have
you've
the
got
second white for the Aura Silence just yet. I've just got a bunch of
oh,
red
those are both
sources.
Forgotten Caves. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Very pretty Forgotten Caves,
They
but
are.
unfortunately not pretty enough to tap for white.
Unfortunately not, no.
Oh, tapping 2 mana for a Hermit Druid.
Okay, so Ben
All
could
right.
possibly kill me next turn. It looks like he has Croson Reclamation in his hand. So he's short a mana to kill. Oh no, he has a Reanimate. Okay, he can just kill me next turn. So he can activate his Hermit Druid, and then cast Reanimate on the Sutured Ghoul. It comes back with Dragon's Breath, and then attacks me for a bazillion D damage.
Yep, that certainly is a line he can take here, but let's see if he's got it.
Yeah.
We're activating.
Yep.
We're
Activating and casting.
reanimating.
So this is something where Abolish would be super sweet. So Abolish is a white, white, and 1 disenchant, but you can discard a planes to cast it for free. So
Oh,
in this
right.
situation, it would be hilarious because he would Dragon's Breath his Sutured Ghoul, and then I could abolish the Dragon's Breath. I don't think I have it, but if I did, I could totally do that. And he wouldn't be able to attack this turn. That would buy me a turn to buy like draw like a Plower or Humility or something. But as it
Yeah.
is, Ben just gets the good old turn 3 kill, taking 7 damage in the process, and hitting me for 48.
Yep. Well, him alive at 12 compared to you at negative.
Oh yeah, it's
What
not
is
letting me
that?
tap anymore.
Negative 47.
Yeah, something like that. Negative 27, something
All
like that. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Well, excellent match. Ben played that very well. The second game was a little rough for him, but he did the Angry Hermit thing in game 3, I think, very convincingly.
Yeah, I mean, in game 2, you kind of just basically played red-white control on the
Yeah.
back of your Dust Bowl.
Yep.
You
I did
stabilized
bring in the
against
Abolish. Okay.
his threats.
Mm-hmm.
You turned off all his mana,
Yep.
and did
Yep.
what Rifter does.
Yep. Which is does things very, very slowly, very methodically, but it's a thing. So I'm
Yeah,
curious to see what Ben
something.
sideboarded here. So he's got, I don't know if he
Did he take
sideboarded
out
much.
Worldly Tutors? Oh
He
no,
may
those were
have.
just what the cards in his
He
hand.
did bring in the raise. Okay.
Okay, he did
Yeah.
bring in Ray. That's great.
Yeah.
Looks like you went. Is the card on the right of the Phyrexian Furnace, is that Abolish?
Yes, it is. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Oh wow, I didn't even think about that. So the board state in game 2 was super loose because if he had drawn Ray of Revelation, he could have raid my Lightning Rift, then cast the Dreadnought, then raid Flashback on the Humility and just completely annihilated me. So I got really
Oh
lucky
my
that he didn't
goodness,
draw one.
yeah.
The people in the comments are probably screaming, "Obviously, Carl, that's what he could have done. Why weren't you seeing it then?" Because I'm not very good and I don't understand how the game works. That's why I didn't see it. That's all.
Well,
It's not that
Carl,
complicated.
it's okay. You and I, you more than me, we're more blue mages.
That's true.
You
It's
love
true.
casting Psychotogs. Recently, I've been casting a lot of Stifle Knots.
It's good times. Yep.
We're not experts on
No,
destroying enchantments because you know what we do with enchantments, Carl?
we counter
We
them.
annul them,
Yep.
we counter them, we bounce them. We don't really need to deal with them, or
Hmm.
heaven forbid, we stifle them. You know?
Exactly. Exactly. But I think it was a sweet match. I think the fact that Rifter won a game is very impressive. I'm not saying that to shoot my own horn. I think it's just incredible that the deck was able to steal a game. It was more of a match than thought it was going to be. So very cool match. Any final thoughts before we let the people go?
Well, Carl, don't we have a couple events coming up that
We sure do. Good job plugging them. So we have a 1K coming up in Binghamton, New York on June 16th. It's the
I think it's the 11th.
Is it the 11th? I don't remember how days work. Let's see here. It's
Yeah, it
actually the
is.
14th, so neither of us are right.
Oh, alrighty. There
Yep.
we go.
So we got a 1K coming up on June 14th at Dragon Master Games here in Binghamton, New York, and then in October, on October 11th, that's the 11 you're thinking of. We have
Ah,
a
yes, that's
charity
right.
1K benefiting the Food Bank of the Southern Tier, with some sweets. I don't say raffle prizes. It's like a grab bag deck where you get to cast
Well,
impulse
we've
on a
got
stack
the
of
impulse.
cards and get things. Yeah. Yep, you have some
Yeah.
impulses. A lot of cool stuff going on. We'll have speedy sandwiches, and all the proceeds are going to go to the food bank of the Southern Tier. And what's really cool is Ricky is actually guaranteeing a 1K regardless of attendance, and then it's going to be a 2K at 40 plus at no extra cost to the attendees. So super cool of him. So let's pack the venue, get him his value, and raise a ton of money for the food bank.
Yeah, if you like charity, if you like pre-modern, if you like great food and great vibes, come on down. It's going to be a great time.
Yep.
Carl, how does the Impulse deck work? Because I think we may be the first to be doing something like this.
Yeah, I mentioned it. I think I mentioned in a video before, but basically, I have a stack of cards that folks have. Well, it's all stuff, all my stuff right now, but stuff that people will be donating, and it's gonna have things that are worth money, things that are not worth money, but all of them are gonna be pre-modern playable cards. And what you'll do is you will pay money, and you'll get to cast Impulse on that deck of cards. So you'll look at the top 4 of it, take one of them, and you get to keep that. That'll be your card. You get to take it forever, and then you put the rest on the bottom, and then I think we're gonna put in some sort of mechanic where you can spend like $1 something to shuffle. Just like if you know something super sweet went to the bottom, you want another shot at it. Sure, we'll let you go at it by giving us extra money. That's totally fine. But
And
yeah,
Carl, would I be able to keep the stamped impulse that I cast?
you probably will. Depends on how many we have. the plan is currently to give out
Alrighty.
an, the plan is currently to give out an impulse with every cast, but not quite sure how it works. I was talking with Javi Lugo actually a little bit earlier last week about doing an online version of the raffle or the fundraiser there. So what we're gonna try and do is we're gonna try and take PayPal to cast impulse for you. I'll see if we can get people to like take pictures and stuff and then send them off to you. I don't know. We're gonna try and figure out how that works. Regardless, we'll be taking money. We don't care where you want. If you want to give us your money, we will give you cards for it. It's fine. And then we'll then donate that out to the food bank. It'll be great.
Alrighty. Well, Carl, this was a great time talking with you, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, everybody, for Ryan and myself. Have a good one. We'll catch you later.
Bye.